now tuned in to the cold, hard truth. Cayman's #1 hard-hitting live podcast show, where we feature some straightforward conversations on political, social, and celebrity news and all things happening in the Cayman Islands and around the world. This show was created to give the people a voice and a means of being involved and informed without any filters. Sometimes it gets crazy, but we always keep it real. We bring you the tea, piping hot, so grab your favorite beverage and join the conversation via WhatsApp at 324-1612. Email tips@caymanmarlroad.com. Now, here's your host, Sandy Hill, broadcasting live from the beautiful Cayman Islands.
Good evening. Good evening. How is everyone? Computer's moving a little bit slow today, but there we go. Wonderful. Need to make some adjustments to my camera. There. Much better. How are you guys? Hey, it's Tuesday evening. Let's get it. Let's see what's been going on. Hi, Irvelyn. Hey, Kayla. How are you beautiful people doing? So we've been getting a lot of comments, continued comments about the police officer. Oh my gosh, who knew that such a simple thing would blow up? I think someone mentioned earlier that when you're in uniform, right, you are deemed, so you're in uniform and you're in a police cruiser, you are deemed to be on duty. And to me, that makes complete sense, because how would you know otherwise whether a police officer was on duty or off duty? And so that got me to thinking. And I was telling you guys yesterday that I went by the court's office and I got a complete list of all of the cases that over the past 9-10 years that I have been charged with. And the very first case was in relation to a dog theft. Crazy, right? Like, what sensible person steals a dog? Like, that's just crazy. What animal lover steals a dog? I would never steal somebody's dog. To me, that's the equivalent of stealing someone's child. Like, seriously, I was so insulted by the charges. Hi, Morna. Hi, Larry. Hi, Karen. So listen. One of the things that I was able to prove, because I was my own lawyer, one of the things that I was able to actually prove during that trial is when we had, it was a very crazy situation, but there was a police officer who took the stand. So she was the one who came to my door claiming that I stole the neighbor's dog. Ironically, I had reported to her, the same police officer, when I found the dog. She had come to my residence about something else in the neighborhood, and I had reported to her that I had found the dog. So the prosecution was trying to argue, it was a really crazy and stupid argument, that I had not gone through the correct procedures of actually reporting the dog. And I'm thinking, what the hell are you talking about? If a police officer comes to my door, I do not know her from the man in the moon. She's not my friend. She is an officer in uniform and on duty, and I report something to her. What more is there? So they were trying to get me in a technicality, claiming that the law, hi Mitzi, required me to go to the police station and file a report. Well, the judge threw it out and he said it was absolutely ridiculous. And I said to her in cross-examination to make the point, I said, so let me understand what you're trying to say to me, right? As a police officer, if I stop you in the street and say, I just saw a man got shot and murdered in the middle of the street, you're telling me that I didn't just report that in the correct way because I didn't go to the police station and file a police report? Say what? And she looked baffled at me, and I just sat down and said, no further questions for this witness. Because seriously, you just made yourself look so dumb. And so this morning, I forget who it was that was making the point or the comment that, you know what, he's in uniform, he's in a patrol car. You don't get to just sit back and take a nap while you're in a patrol car, not to mention all the other tidbits that we now know to be the case, which include the fact that he was actually on I wouldn't really say a stakeout per se, but he was sent to that specific location at the time to really maintain an eye on, let me just fix that, and what had been happening with the Cuban migrants that were still at that point, being watched from a distance. Ambulance was there. CBC boat was already there in the water, in fact. So we'll move on from it. You either see something wrong with it or you don't. I had a friend on Facebook, Chelsea, said, we don't know what's going on in his household. Maybe he's having a really rough time. A lot of us are dealing with a lot of personal issues. And I said, yeah, but are we going to really use those types of excuses for people who are paid to do a job? When you work in emergency services, it's a stressful position, potentially. I don't think working on the BRAC is particularly stressful, but it can come with its uniqueness and stresses. And there's only certain people that can probably do those sorts of jobs. And that it's not everyone is cut out for it. And if you have a lot of drama in your personal life and you're dealing with, sick parents, all these other things, there might come a time when you walk away from a position like that. But there's a lot of, what ifs, and we don't know that any of that applies to this person. Like I said, the most logical explanation is he just was tired for whatever reason and decided to take a nap on duty. Yes, CC, we're still talking about it because people are still talking about it and they're still posting and they're still going on and on and on and on about it. But we are done with that topic. So listen, today is September the 29th. If you are already thinking as a parent about what you're going to do for trick-or-treating this year, you can now cross Webster's Estate off of your list, unfortunately, because I actually like that venue. That's where we went last year and we had a blast. It was like just one stop location for all your candies and goodies. My daughter loved it. It's nice and safe. It's a cul-de-sac sort of set up, so there's no traffic. The police and the residents, know that there's going to be a lot of foot traffic through that area. So they prepare for it. Residents actually get home early. They're so awesome. They do tons of decorations. So these pictures are from last year's event, courtesy of Carol Hay. So thank you so much, Carol, for these. And they just go out of their way. Like, honestly, some of the actual homeowners should win a prize because they go above and beyond in terms of the decorations. I love it. So unfortunately, because of COVID, there will be no decorations this year. Basically, Halloween has already been canceled. And part of the reason for that is, unfortunately, remember, we're still at level 2, minimal suppression, which means that no public gatherings of more than 250 people. Now, if you can guess, I'm going to put up a gift certificate for the first person who guessed the number without going over. Give me an educated guess of how many people do you think went through this community, Webster's Estate, last October the 31st? Whoever gets closest without going over will win a Popeyes gift certificate. Delicious chicken. There's other things at Popeyes. You know what was really popular during COVID? It wasn't even the chicken. It was the chicken sandwich. People went crazy for that chicken sandwich. Like, that had some good stuff in it. So give me some numbers, folks. How many people do you think? So Alma has come in at 879. So no, Alma, it's a bit more than that. Come on, Cece. Come on, Morna, Karen, Irvelyn, Mitzi. 780. Nope, it's more than that. So yeah, give me a guess without going over. of how many people you think actually went through the community. So I'd like to have your votes to see who can win this lovely gift certificate, courtesy of our friends over at Popeyes. So I'll let you guys continue to guess, and then we can move on to some other news. Let's see what we got here. Hi, Odette. Good evening. Mario thinks 999. Tamika says 925. Nope. Patrice, 1500. It's more than that. Shadeen, 1700, 1500. Nope. Dolores comes in at 1200, at 1120, 950. It's more than that. Hi, Marcia. How are you? 2000. Kayleen says 1099. Keep going, folks. Keep going, Patrice. It's higher than 3000. What? It's crazy. Darlene, Morna, some good guesses, but they're still kind of low, actually. Janice, you've gone over. So Janice said 7,000, and I can tell you that that's over, but not too far off. You guys are lowballing it. Aha! Patrice is our winner at 6,000. Patrice Macney, congratulations. You have just won a gift certificate, because it's actually around 6,000 people. We are told by one of the homeowners, residents that actually went through there last year. That's a lot of people. I'm like, is that right? 6,000? Let me just double check, because I'm thinking, whoa. Hold on. Let me double check here, because I don't want to give you guys incorrect information, but I know that that's what we were told. About 6,000 adults and children. So you are the winner. So Patrice, please private message us, and we will arrange to get you that gift certificate. So yeah, some good guesses here, but 6,000 is a lot of people. And how could they possibly control that when it says 250? You're going to turn away like 5,800 and whatever kids, right? So unfortunately, they've had to cancel the event this year. And so this got me to thinking that unfortunately, this will mean that, most of the, so Patrice, just make sure you private message me, or you can send us something on the WhatsApp number. But congratulations, you have won yourself a gift certificate to Popeyes. Yeah, so what about all of the other places like Snug Harbor, even the one that's done here in Savannah area? Oh my gosh, does that mean Halloween is going to be canceled for everybody? I mean, the kids really look forward to it. And it's unfortunate because it draws a big crowd. And of course, if the one at Webster's Estate is canceled, does that mean then that other locations are going to follow suit? Or if they don't follow suit, how are they going to control the numbers? Because everybody who would have gone to Webster's Estate may now be seeking to go elsewhere. So Juanita, the question was, give me an estimate of how many people actually went through Webster's Estate last year for their annual Halloween festivities. And like I said, they really go out of the way. The houses, do all sorts of elaborate decoration. Homeowners are giving away candy and lots of fun stuff. And in addition to that, some of them actually have like block parties. So last year when we went, there was a family who had a block party. Like you could go inside the garage and people were going through their house, and they were like pizza and sandwiches and all sorts of stuff for the kids. So they really do it properly in terms of a good community event. And it has been done now for at least 20 years. So I know that a lot of people will be very saddened to see or to hear that that event has been canceled for 2020. But unfortunately, these are the times that we're living with at the moment in terms of what is going on with COVID. So too bad. I mean, I've ordered a costume for my daughter already because she's excited about Halloween. So I'm not quite sure what we're going to do quite yet. Because like I said, that was our go-to location as well last year. And she loved it last year. Oh my gosh. She got so much candy. I had to hide most of it from her and then call other parents who didn't necessarily take their kids out and say, please come and get some candy for your kids. Because once she knows that that bag of candy is there, she wants to keep going in it and eating all the candy. And she's already got a sweet tooth for a 4-year-old. So we got to find a way to curtail that a little bit. Okay, so what else is on the agenda today? Did you guys see that Dr. Frank Macfield has decided to throw his hat back into the political arena? So listen, Cayman Mall Road will be your go-to spot for the 2021, my apologies, election, which is going to be held on May the 26th of next year. So we have our ears to the ground, and I can tell you which people are running and which people are not running even before they make an official announcement. So I knew from the 20th that Dr. Frank would be throwing his hat back in the arena. He was still contemplating what district he was going to be running in. And so there were some discussions in terms of that, which is fine. But quite interestingly enough, Dr. Frank has decided to run in Prospect. So what this means for Prospect is they now have potentially 4 candidates running, at least 4, which is crazy. Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot. So, oh, excuse me. That was a sneeze, believe it or not. But yes, that's a lot for one area. And I think, someone said to me that the feedback was kind of mixed reviews on this one. But someone said to me that they're really going hard at poor Austin to take Austin out. I find that what ends up happening is when it's a bit too crowded, the opposite happens. So in other words, the incumbent is going to stay in right where they are. So this will be interesting because, the district of Prospect only has, Austin, I forget the number of registered voters in that area. We'll have to start getting some of these numbers together for you guys so that we can start to have a fuller discussion on these things. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of votes going around. And when people only need to win by 1 vote, literally, I think you may start to have a little bit of an situation going on. So let me just check if I can. We're going to be putting up a countdown poll on our website, by the way, so that we can keep track of all of the numbers and how many days we've got left and that sort of thing. I'm actually just checking because I know my web guy was supposed to do this from over a week ago, I believe. So let me just check with him. So yeah, we're going to put a little countdown ticker on the website already so that we know we will we'll be able to just track when the election, like how many days away we are, et cetera, right? So totally looking forward to that. Listen, we are going to be your election headquarters, bringing you the latest information, all the sus on the mall road. We know it. And so we're going to be bringing it to you first. So Dr. Frank said that basically he was not going to be running, and we'll have Dr. Frank on to maybe explain this to us, but he's not going to be running in Red Bay, because on Sunday he was informed by Alden McLaughlin, who of course you guys know is the leader of the PPM and the current premier, that he would be running in the district. So that's interesting. He said that basically Alden, being part of the PPM machinery, has unlimited resources, lots of donations and funds and whatever. And Frank is running on a very limited budget. So he feels that, it would be, I guess, an unmatched fight. So, what do you guys think about that one? That sounds a little bit interesting. And I'm going to announce in the morning another candidate for the District of Savannah. And this is a female candidate. And we'll be the first ones to let you know about that one as well. So that's going to be another bit of breaking news on the election front that we're going to be providing you information on. So yes, there are tons of people who are contemplating running for political office. I think for the most part, the majority of people who are in there, we can assume safely that they will be running again. I see very few politicians ever come out of political office by their own choice. They don't tend to retire gracefully. They tend to either get voted out, die in public office, or some scandal potentially could have them thrown out, which normally doesn't happen because Caymanians ignore the scandals and just keep voting them back in. So yes, so Dr. Frank has thrown his hat back in the ring. So congratulations to Dr. Frank. Like I said, I've received some mixed reviews. Some people are like, no, we need some fresh blood. He's had his time. That's kind of how some people are seeing it. Dr. Frank has said that he continues to believe that he has a lot to offer the community. And so we will definitely speak with him and see what some of those things are. So check out the article. We did post it on the, we did post it on the website. And like I said, in the morning, we'll be making another announcement regarding a female candidate who is also throwing her head in the hat. Now, as you guys remember, during the last election, we had a lot of women running. I think it was actually the most women that we have had running for political office. And sadly, only 3 got elected, which I think says a lot about this country, but we will talk about that a little bit later on. So there's a voter registration deadline, folks, that is coming up for October the 1st, which is Thursday. So I'm going to ask all of you good folks, if you are eligible to register, do so, because this now is the list that will come into force for New Year's Day of 2021. So you don't get to register up until the last minute, folks. You've got to make sure that you are prepared. There's a degree of preparation that goes into this. The elections office by law has a certain amount of time that they require before a new electors list is sort of valid, right? So I want you guys to stay on top of this, because you can't participate in the process if you've not even bothered to register to vote. I understand that there are over 5,000 unregistered voters, and the vast majority of the unregistered voters happen to be young folks. So these are the folks who are complaining that, the older heads have ruined the world for them and that they have little hope of making any change. Well, if you do not get registered to vote, you will have no hope. Uh-oh, there's my little campaign trail slogan there. I think I need one that's a little bit smaller that I need to speak to my graphic designer about this, because this one's way too big. This takes up the entire screen. We need just a little itsy bitsy one that we can kind of put in the corner up there at the very top. So I'm going to send this to him. But this is going to be CMR. We are on the campaign trail, folks. And we will definitely be providing you with all of the latest election-based news for your perusal. So here's what you need to know now, good people, in terms of the voters registration process. So deadline is October the 1st for registration for the January the 1st register of electors. So you have no excuse, folks. Give them a call. You can send them a WhatsApp message, or you can email them at info@elections.ky. And how it works is they produce a register of electors, so that's the voters list, every quarter. So this may be January, and then we've got February, March, April, May. So I think this might be, yeah, this is going to be the last one for voter registration for May the 21st, May the 26th of 2020. So folks, I was caught off guard just now by this, but we'll post something up on the website. If you are unregistered to vote, get out there. You've got 2 days to do it. It's easy. It's not hard. They will help you do it. Just contact the elections office, 949-8047. They've got a WhatsApp number because everybody's on WhatsApp these days. If you're young, you're old, it doesn't matter. Just get registered. That is the most important thing. This deadline is looming. It's close. It's going to be here before you know it. And I really want you guys to be registered to vote. That 5,000, that's way too many people for a country of this size where you don't really have a huge electorate anyway. That is simply too many folks that are unregistered to vote. And so hats off to Amplified Cayman, which is a group of young advocacy-minded Caymanians who have been going out there and getting their peers, a lot of them in their early 20s. They have been getting their peers registered to vote. And also a big shout out to Mr. Alric Lindsay, because Alric has also been working quite hard and getting people registered to vote as well. So every single person who's running for elected office, in my mind, should be encouraging as many people to participate in the democratic process as much as possible. And this is going to be it. This is your last opportunity, folks, to make sure that you get in right under the bell before that October 1st deadline. Because then that's it. They do a list in January. And hold on. Next registration deadline. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure I'm not misreading this. So for your information. All right. So January 4th. Oh, my apologies. January 4th is the final voter registration deadline. Okay. I thought that this was going to be it for January. That's why I was counting the quarters. Oh, my math is a little bit off. All right. So you still have one more, but do not delay. Don't let that deter you from doing it. Do it now. You know what I'm saying? Just get it done. It's not that hard. Why wait? Why put off what you can do today until January the 4th or the 3rd? Because, you know, you'd wait till the very last day again. So you've got time to get on the list. All right. So thank you so much to the elections office. They're actually behind the scenes doing a lot of work to ensure that this process runs as smoothly as possible. So I know a lot of people are coming out of the woodworks. We've got a few more interesting names, some newcomers that you guys, I think, will find incredibly interesting. Charlene, hello, honey. Where have you been? I've not seen you in a couple days. So listen, you know, sometimes we see stuff on CMR that even takes me a little bit by surprise. So for some reason, I was going back to the story. Remember on, I think it was on Friday, this wannabe scammer guy, not wannabe scammer, he scammed people out of millions of dollars. So he's like a legit scammer. Andy McAlpine, Andrew Charles McAlpine is his name. He's now been arrested in the US and indicted on federal charges involving, he's got a number of charges, I think about 4 different charges, involving an alleged pump and dump penny, what do they call it? Penny stock situation. So we were the first, like I said this morning, to actually break the original story of his arrest on Saturday, the 19th, I believe. He was arrested on the 18th. We had sources who were right on the plane, folks. So we were able to bring it to you hot off the presses. So his wife then reached out to us last week, Friday, so a week after his arrest, and she sent a letter that was very, very interesting, basically saying, that despite the fact that we had done this story and her husband, that really brought all of this unwanted attention to her, that her and the husband, or she was doing just fine. And in fact, she was better than just fine because her friends and supporters stepped up to the plate and actually have provided her with enough food to last her 3 weeks. So good for her. Living in the lap of luxury. And now you don't even have to worry about food. Not like you had to worry about food anyway, but whatever. So she says that God works in mysterious ways and he's been performing so many miracles that it has been keeping me afloat, she read. Your article has touched those that have compassion and understanding for troubled times, whether guilty or not. I see the glass as half full. Well, I suspect she probably lives in a bit of a fantasy world. To be living with Andy and married to Andy for all of these years and not to recognize that Andy was a scammer. And here's why I say that. So she goes on to say, while the rest of the world seems to be falling apart, we're completely comfortable going about our business, knowing that we're not risking our health or lives by simply going to a grocery store. Our small community is like a big family. Everyone knows your business, but that's okay. We are family. I once heard Marlon Brando say, trouble comes knocking at everyone's door, and this time it is knocking on mine. Okay. There's lots of truth to that. We all go through shit. All right. Our disappointments are God's appointment, she says. Although I'm not trying to turn this into Bible study, he that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone. John 8:17. So there's your Bible verse for the day, folks. And my husband was going out of his way to charter a plane, desperately wanting to see his ailing father. And our lives were turned upside down in the blink of an eye. Well, yes, Janine, I kind of think that you would know, and I'm going to tell you why. Because this is nothing new for Mr. Andy. He has a very long and extensive history of allegedly defrauding people, like long being 20 years long. So I'm sure she's not that blindsided by this, and she's not that naive by what her husband was doing. Because it turns out that this is not his first time at the rodeo. So she goes on to says, yes, your article turned on the floodgates, but it also sifted out the beautiful sand that we are so fortunate to walk on. God chose you to get a message out there as he heard my cries for help. So thank you, Carolyn Third McAlpine. Well, Miss Carolyn Third McAlpine, you are most welcome. She claims that our article spread all over North America and even the United Kingdom. Wow. My goodness, seems like CMR has quite the reach, which I know we do, by the way, but I'm glad she acknowledged it, I guess. So, yes, I mean, the article seemed to have gone wide and far. And so she sends us this email to us and, we published it, of course. And then in the comment section, I didn't realize until this morning's show when I started reading it, I was like, oh, the comment section actually blew up. Now, it's a little bit unusual, I must say, for the comment section on the website to get such attention. Because normally what happens is most of you are social media creatures and you comment on Facebook pretty much. And you don't really, get into the back and forth on the website. So a lot of times I don't even check, I'll be honest with you. A lot of times I do not even check the comments on the website. They're linked to Facebook accounts, but they just show up on the website, right? So this morning, I was very, very surprised to see, in fact, that there were tons of comments there, and not just comments from like random people, but David Marchant, I think that's how he pronounces it, because I think he might be English. It's probably not Marchant with a hard T. It's probably Marchant or something like that. I don't really know. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. He is the founder and CEO of Offshore Alert. Now, if you have never heard of Offshore Alert before, Offshore Alert is the premier place to go to for anything to do with financial services news. So David reports, his paper, I think, has been around since 1997. Sorry. It's an online publication. And he reports on everything to do with the financial services industry. He monitors all of the different offshore jurisdictions, and he puts up news on every single one of them. And it's one of those websites that you can go to to find a lot of interesting content. So, as it would have it, he is very familiar with a number of different cases that this gentleman, Andy, has been involved in. And so he had a turn on the people who were trying to defend this behavior. And I must admit, it wasn't a whole lot of people, but nonetheless, there were a number of people on there. So I'm going to read to you some of the comments. I don't know how well you can see these here. But Mr. David says, who knew that God supported penny stock fraudsters? Question mark. And then he goes on to say, your husband and his firms have been involved in penny stock fraud for at least 20 years. You have no excuse for not knowing about it because it has been widely reported in Offshore Alert, starting in the late 1990s. As the good Christian you claim or pretend to be, I presume that you'll now be turning over your assets to victims, or are the only parts of the Bible you believe in those dealing with forgiveness of sins? Contrary to the delusional opinion you seem to have, most of us don't swindle vulnerable people for a living. Wow. Mic drop. Boom. And he does not stop there, because then a guy named Thomas comes into the conversation. And Thomas says, wow, David, from a simple journalist, you promoted yourself to criminal investigator, prosecutor, judge, jury, and executioner. Congratulations on your recent delusional appointments. I have to wonder if the only promotion that is here is for your website at $90 per month and to line your pockets. Wow. So Mr. David does not take kindly to that. And he says, I am indeed an investigator of crimes, as is well known. Oh, I've been investigating and writing about scams by McAlpine and or his former employees, LOM, for over 20 years, including but not limited to various lawsuits and settlements, including one by LOM to settle an SEC fraud lawsuit for $2.3 million. So this is what I tell you, this dude has been at it for a while, folks. This is not the first time at the rodeo. So SEC believed that LOM was one of the biggest participants in penny stock fraud in the United States. How revealing of your character that you seemingly think swindling the elderly is not worthy of condemnation, but exposing it is. Aha! Mr. David Marchant speaks well. He writes well and straight to the point. And then this dude comes back again. So Thomas comes back and says, really? Now you want to condemn my character? You're too much. Tell me, David, how many hours a day do you spend editing your posts and comments include and or to avoid libel lawsuits against you? So they go back and forth for a while. One of the most interesting things that David says. Now listen to this, folks. This gets very interesting. So remember Caledonian Bank? They were shut down, gone out of business. They were involved in a lot of shenanigans, and the SEC was fining them to the tune of millions of dollars. I don't know if they ever paid anything, because when they went into liquidation, I think they're probably broke at that point. But David says that there's an email that Andrew McAlpine sent on June the 26th, 2003, and which was attached to an agreement between the SEC and Caledonian Bank at federal court in New York in 2016 to settle a fraud complaint. And this is what the email said. I think what I suggested about getting an SEC insider on the payroll is prudent, as we want to stay ahead of the curve. Nothing corrupt about that. What a fine fella. Wow. Folks, these comments read like something out of a novel. Jonathan Adam joined in on the conversation as well, and he made some very salient points. So I'm just going to put the link in here in case you missed any of these comments. You can go back and read them. There's a lot more. David attaches a 30-page report about the overview of federal criminal cases for 2018, basically showing that the federal government in the United States of America has a 97.4% pleaded guilty success rate, I guess. So isn't that amazing? Yes, Morna. I didn't see the comments until this morning, just as the show was about to end. And I was like, what? Stop the presses. And so a few other people, there's a guy here, Douglas Steele, who said that, oh, you know, they're the greatest people my wife and I have ever met. We're lucky to find them. They're close friends. And of course, people are going to defend, you know, oh, they're so nice. They were there for me. One person, Sharon, says they were there for me when I needed them the most. And so David quite rightly points out, well, it's easy for other people to be there for you when it's not even their money. I mean, you steal 6-10 million from somebody else, you can afford to be there for other people because you are just stealing it from people, basically. So, yeah, very, very interesting comments. Check him out. There's much more there. Sue is of the opinion that she knew. Sorry, I was at dinner, but okay, not a problem. Yes, I agree that she would have known. And primarily because he's been at it again. This is multiple cases now that have been brought against him. Does a tiger ever, a leopard, whatever the saying is, ever change its stripes? It's a good question. And I don't know. I think some people are capable of change. And then other people just, they're always looking for another way to get one up on you. Hi, Lulu. Thank you so much for tuning in. Morna says, enjoy your dinner. So you must tell us what you're having. So in other news today, ganja was seized among vape pipes or vape pens imported from the US, and a Caymanian, a 24-year-old Caymanian, has been arrested on suspicion of importation of the drugs. So this is no good. Yeah, very sad indeed. Caymanians, you got to keep it together, man. It doesn't make any sense to get involved in this illegal activity that is going to land you in jail. It's just crazy, right? So, there are a few other cases that we are following for you as well. Let me just see what we got here. So there's a couple of regional news stories. You guys can check those out from our regional correspondent. See what she's been up to. Trinidad and Tobago, by the way, if you're a Carnival fan, they've canceled Carnival for 2021. So already they're like, irks, no Carnival in 2021, because you know that event draws thousands of people from all over the world. And I think Trinidad Let's see what their numbers are in terms of COVID, but I don't believe they've actually been doing a fantastic job, so they probably don't want any more cases. They have 4,362 cases and 71 virus-related deaths. So as you know, Jamaica has over 6,000 now. And like I said a few days ago, Jamaica actually, quite interestingly enough, not just Jamaica, but anywhere in the Caribbean, the World Health Organization and PAHO has said, you are more likely to die in the Caribbean region from COVID versus the rest of the Americas. I was like, what? The rest of South America, Central America, we're more likely to die, Caribbean people? Yes. So that's not good news for us. Hi, Jake from State Farm. Just kidding. We were just talking about cancellation of Halloween by Webster's Estate. We're talking about David Marchant from Offshore Alert making some comments on the fraudster, the Stop Fraudster story. So go and check that out. I'll put the link above. Oh, yes. Thank you, Sue, for the reminder. So tonight, I know that most of you will actually be glued to your TV screens because there is a big debate on with Trump and Donald Trump. This is a presidential debate, and Joe Biden. So we are looking very, very closely to see how they do. Did you guys hear the comment that Trump made that Joe Biden needed to take a drug test before the debate or right after or during the debate because that would explain why he's so sleepy all the time or something? So listen, Joe Biden isn't like our police officer falling asleep on the job, but Trump is, he majors in the most ridiculous comments. And of course, he's trying to undermine and say that that Joe Biden must be on drugs. Well, the truth of the matter is they're both old white men running for president of the United States of America. And Trump has had more screw ups than Joe Biden, but Joe Biden isn't like a shining example of probably what you would want in any event, to be quite honest. So you can look them up and see, health-wise, Joe Biden is 77 years old. I don't know why America has to always pick such old people to run for political office. And then by comparison, Trump, let me see, I think Trump is pretty old too. I believe Trump might be the oldest American elected to public office, to the presidential office. So he's 74. So, okay, he's got, 3 years on Joe Biden, but he's not all that sharp either. I mean, he is kind of dumb, to be honest. So we'll see. Trump has been married 3 times and he has a bunch of kids. He's got Ivanka, Barron Trump, Donald Trump Jr., Tiffany, and Eric Trump. So he's got 5 kids. And yes, he is 74 years old. And guess the name of the hospital that he was born at. This is kind of funny. Statistical information. Jamaica Hospital Medical Center. You can't make this stuff up, folks. That's a hospital in New York. So, Trump has all sorts of conspiracy theories. And on top of that, he has not paid any taxes. They said that last year, right? Trump paid $740 in taxes. This is a man who claims like he's a billionaire. How is it possible that he only pays that amount? Like, it's just crazy. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. So he has been, as a millionaire, supposed billionaire, because we know he's not worth what he claims. Despite that, he has managed to essentially pay little to nothing in taxes. There are working class Americans who get up every single day, and they might make $100,000 if they're lucky, that have paid more money in taxes than Donald Trump. Now, you know something is wrong with the system when you hear that kind of information. But yes, that's what it is. That's his situation on taxes. So that was just revealed. He claims to pay $70,000 in styling his hair, of all things. And Donald Trump, his son Eric Trump, is demanding an investigation into the leaked documents regarding his taxes. Because remember, for a really long time, he refused to divulge any of his tax information. Well, they're saying that this time around, this information was actually leaked right ahead of the presidential election. So the New York Times actually published the first in a series of stories based on Trump's tax returns, citing tax documents and data spanning 2 decades. It revealed that he has had small federal tax bills and major financial losses during his business career. Some of his tax maneuvers have come under legal scrutiny. So some very, very interesting points here about Donald Trump and his taxes. So yeah, the rich are not paying as much as you think. But yet they're the first ones to say, we don't want to pay for anything. We're tired of paying for stuff. And the poor people are always, making us support them. Well, in 2016, Trump paid $750 in federal income taxes and paid another $750 the first year he was in the White House. So you tell me, what Americans is he supporting with that $150 contribution, annual contribution towards his federal income tax? Anybody else think that that's a little bit crazy? So the wealthy know how to manipulate the tax code to minimize their tax liability, and that's what they pay expert lawyers and CPAs and everybody else to do. So that being the case, who are they really supporting? Trump wrote off $26 million in unexplained consulting fees as a business expense between 2010 and 2018. So there's a lot of information here if you really care that much, which we don't. We will just have to see what the Americans decide to do. The ball is literally in their court. So Cameron RBC case. Jake, we don't have a whole lot on that yet. Unfortunately, I had a couple meetings today, so I was not able to actually get to court. But yes, thank you for reminding me that 3 individuals have been arrested in a Royal Bank. Was it a burglary that occurred a number of years ago? Let me just see if I can find the information. So yes, they were arrested, but I don't have the names yet because I was not able. They've not just been arrested, but they've actually been charged. So I wasn't able to get to court today, but as soon as I can get some information, Jake, I will certainly let you know. So we have a 30-year-old from West Bay, a 38-year-old of Bodden Town, and a 33-year-old of Bodden Town were charged with 1 count of burglary each, and they've all been subsequently bailed. So let's see where this goes. And this is a burglary that took place in 2016, June the 23rd of 2016 on Shedden Road. So Cameron says Trump 2020. Sue says he's delusional as usual and never. Cameron says all of America is mad. Well, oh my gosh, you guys are getting all heated over American politics. So there you have it. Yes, Sue, go ahead and watch it. I'm sure it's going to be on all the major networks. I'm thinking, should we stream it here? I don't know if I can be bothered with Donald. Yes, Jake, you paid more taxes than him with all the shopping and eating that I do in the States. Yep, pretty much. I'm sure you have. So not surprised one iota. So on Friday's show, please mark your calendars because Alric Lindsay will be joining us on Friday. We'll be excited to speak to him. And please do not forget to tune in tomorrow morning at 7:30. We're going to get started. And we will be announcing another candidate that is running in the district of, listen to the breaking news. In the district of, yes. Wow, got another story here to work on. In the district of Savannah. So yes. All right. Okay, folks. I think that's all we got here. We've got a missing puppy. Missing in the area of, it's missing since September 23rd. Let me see if we can get a name for this puppy. Aw, so cute. So we'll post this little puppy up. He's missing from his family. So if you happen to see this little cutie pie, somebody is missing him, do message us and let us know so that we can, oh Lord, have mercy. Ramsey, we have not heard a word about Fidelity except they continue to frustrate people. I just can't even tell you to hold your breath. So you're inquiring about, is that June payments that they're still working on? And it's almost October? I'm sorry, but if the government does not take them to court and put somebody in jail, forget about fines at this point, we have to know that the system just isn't for us. That's all I can tell you. It is rigged beyond comprehension because this company has done the most foolishness. Have you seen this little puppy? Isn't he adorable? He's missing and his family loves him. He's been missing since the 23rd of September, 5 to 6 months old. Missing from West Bay. Bailey is the puppy's name. So that was almost a week ago. And the owner kind of feels like somebody took Bailey. Oh my gosh, Bailey's so cute. Aw. Return Bailey, folks. Return Bailey the dog. Who steals a dog? Like I said at the beginning of the show, like that's just next level messed up. Ay. All right, so we'll post that on our page. Sorry to the owners of Bailey. Hopefully you will get Bailey back. We've reunited people in all sorts of things, right? So who knows? I'm 59.89, folks. Check out our friends at Miracle Brokers. They will get you all sorted out with all of your packing, shipping, logistics. What else they do? They do a lot over there. I mean, they really do a lot more than people think. All right, Cameron, you gotta tune in the morning because I'm going to tell you in the morning who's running. Until then, please stay safe. Have a wonderful night, good folks, and we will be back here, God's willing, first thing in la mañana. Yes, we're going to start speaking some Spanglish around here. All right, good people. Ramsey, keep me posted on Fidelity. I'm so tired of talking about them. Like, they ain't going to do no better. They are ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. They are a horrible Fidelity pension, horrible pension administrator based on how they've handled this entire situation. And that's my opinion. Unqualified opinion, but I'm going to stick to it. All right, good folks. See you guys in the morning.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of The Cold Hard Truth. Make sure to check Facebook for showtimes and more information and the latest news at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Subscribe to our IG and Facebook pages to get the latest happenings.